If you have lipedema and love cheese and yogurt and other delicious dairy products, this episode is for you. We're going to talk about whether or not it makes a difference for your lipedema to stop eating dairy. I'm Tina Ava. I'm the founder of the Lipedema Solution, and this is the Lipedema Solution Q&A Series where I answer questions on everything related to living with lipedema in your body. Today's question comes from Claire, and she writes, Dear Tina, there's so much confusing talk about dairy and whether it affects lipedema, and I'm not sure if it's worth it to stop eating it. I love cheese and yogurt and would love to keep eating it, but if it really does make my lipedema worse, I hope I can find the discipline to stop eating it. Do you think it's important for us to not eat dairy? And don't we need the calcium from dairy? And do you have any tips on what to eat instead? Thank you, Claire. Now, Claire, this is an awesome question, so thank you for asking it. Before we get into the nitty-gritty details, let me start by saying that I understand how difficult it can be to eliminate some foods we love from our diet. And now we're even talking about dairy products that are many people's favorite foods, or snacks maybe, like cheese and yogurt and ice cream. You know, all these are delicious and can be tough to give up. I get it. They used to be some of my favorite foods too, especially the cheese. Now, however, when it comes to lipedema management, sometimes tough decisions must be made if you want your legs to look and feel better and if you want to prevent progression. So let's talk about why eliminating dairy might be useful for you. Simply put, dairy can cause inflammation in your body. And when you have lipedema, it is best to do everything you can to avoid creating extra inflammation. Dairy is bad for us for so many other reasons than that, but one other important thing to mention when we talk about lipedema is that dairy products can also affect the body's natural hormone balance, and this hormonal disruption can lead to further inflammation and fluid retention. Not so nice when we think about our swollen legs, right? And also, many women with lipedema unfortunately have just plain food sensitivity or food intolerances, and dairy is very, very common on the list of things that we're intolerant to as a group. Dairy simply does more harm than good, and I do suggest that you cut it out to see how much of a difference it can do for you. Except, and here's the good news, the type of dairy that creates the most problems comes from cows. But good quality dairy from sheep or goats can be really healthy for you. So if you love cheese and other dairy and don't feel like giving it up completely, I recommend you try sheep products or goat. Now, some people have a hard time with the taste of goat cheese, and I'm also not a really big fan of the taste myself. But many people think, like the people who are not a fan of the goat taste, they also think that sheep dairy will have a similar taste, but sheep is much milder in the taste and it's more similar to the taste of cow dairy. So definitely try it out if you haven't. So yes, I do suggest that you avoid cow dairy for at least a couple of months and see how you feel. I know that it may be challenging to give up your favorite cow dairy foods, but your body will thank you in the long run. And it's important to remember that until we've said no to inflammatory foods consistently for a while, and a week here and there is not enough, we may not feel the small signs and responses our body gives us that it doesn't like what we're feeding it. Sometimes it takes a while before your body's inner environment is like clean enough for you to start to feel and see the signs clearly when your body gets something that it doesn't like for example, inflammatory dairy products. It's important to remember that even if you don't feel any immediate difference in, for example, pain levels in your lipedema, whether you have lipedema or not, eliminating dairy will help if you want to lose excess body fat or reduce inflammation and feel lighter and better and so much more. Oh, let me not forget, you can still eat butter, preferably grass-fed organic butter, and you can also still eat full-fat milk or cream, I guess it's called. It's the type that you use to make a whipped cream. It's usually, I think, 38% or higher in fat. And again, grass-fed and organic is best if you can find it. Lastly, let's talk about the calcium part of the question. It's true that dairy products can be a good source of calcium, but you can also get calcium from, for example, leafy greens or from chia seeds or broccoli or sweet potatoes. So calcium is not a good enough reason to keep eating cow dairy products. As with everything, when it comes to managing your lipedema and making your legs look and feel better and avoid progression, consistency and patience are key and worth it, because that's what gets you results. All of this doesn't mean that you necessarily have to never ever eat cow cheese or ice cream again in your life. I, for example, eat it every now and then if I'm a guest somewhere and it's being served, or once or twice a year when I'm having a gluten-free pizza, for example. Then I'll eat it because, well, it tastes really good. And I'm human, and sometimes I allow myself that unhealthy snack, but only because I have learned that dairy won't give me any immediate pain or swelling in my legs. But I also know that it isn't good for me and that it creates inflammation and other damage in my body, even if I cannot see it. So I limit it to rare occasions, and I'm fully conscious of making that choice when I choose to eat it. I used to nearly crave, I think that's a good word for that. I used to nearly crave cheese, but I don't care much about it anymore since I've been eating very clean and highly nutritious foods for such a long time now, and you can get there too. And I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised by just how quickly you'll stop craving it once you make an effort to avoid it and you see how good it feels to not eat it. So my suggestion is to eliminate cow dairy for at least a couple of months and see how you feel. So there you have it. That's my answer to this question, and I hope it helps. Now I'd love to hear from you. What are some of your favorite replacements for cow dairy? Or if you're still eating dairy, what do you feel will be the toughest to let go of? Let me know in the comments below. Living with lipedema can be a good journey, my friend. And you're no longer doing this alone. We've got this together.